It was 500 years ago that Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas. But it was only a couple of years ago that Canadians discovered this idyllic natural paradise, Costa Rica. This country has quickly become a favorite destination for nature lovers from all around the world, and we're here to discover why. We'll also head to Western Canada for some high alpine skiing and whale watching in beautiful British Columbia, and go east to the ice flows of the St. Lawrence River to get an up-close look at the new generation of seal pups. It's going to be an adventure, so stick around. I'm Christopher Bondy, and this is Road to Adventure. On the Pacific Ocean, and that away is the west coast of Vancouver Island. We're here pretty early, so it's pretty quiet, not too many vacationers here now, but the hotel and lodge staff are arriving, and the shutters are coming off the windows, and the rooms are being prepared for the start of the season. We couldn't wait. If you want to see what we came here to see, you got to get here early. In summer, you could take a float plane to the coast, but like I said, we're early. So we fly to Victoria, then take a scenic drive up island past Sproat Lake and northwest to the coast. We're heading for Ucluelet and the Canadian Princess. She's a floating hotel moored here permanently. Stepping on board is like stepping back in time to the age of steam. This is a Canadian heritage ship that was used in the mapping of the BC coast. She ran aground just after the Second World War, then was salvaged and brought here. Now completely restored, she accommodates hundreds of guests a year in comfort. Yeah. No, this is great. This is beautiful. It's lots of woodwork, lots of space. Yeah, that's great. Hot and cold running water. It's great. Okay, well, where next? Well, we've made it to Ucluelet, and now it's time to find out just what's brought us here.
Whales. Everybody likes whales.
What's so mysterious about them?
Gray whales come and they go, and they're here for a short period of time out on the west coast. And it's exciting because they sort of bring in spring to the people that live out here. In Victoria, people count daffodils to bring in spring. And in Ucluelet, they count whales. After breakfast, we're out of the harbor in search of migrating grays. Whale spotting has its risks. We may not spot any, but our skipper's confident, and on a morning like this, it's nice to be out at sea, whales or no whales. Well, not unlike many Canadians, gray whales head south for the winter. Now, if we see any today, and it looks like we're going to, they're probably returning from the coast of Mexico on their way to the feeding grounds of the inland shores of the Bering Sea. Our search is fairly close to shore. Gray whales never venture too far out. Sometimes they swim through water that's so shallow, they're only half submerged. The first thing we should see will be the spout from the blowhole. It can rise 12 feet. There, right there, right there. 1 o'clock. Okay, we've just spotted one. A couple hundred yards out, I would guess. He'll be coming up again because he didn't show it. There, all you can see him, you can see his top. See his top. He's coming out of the water a little bit. Right here.
Wheel's coming up. Look at yes.
Yeah.
Oh. Thank you, Will.
Hey. Whoa. Back on shore, we meet up with Chief Bert Mack of the local tow-cart band. His people have watched the gray whales swim past this coast for generations.
The whale hunters, they were put through a ritual to prepare them for the hunt. People are starting to realize again that there is a certain strength when you see the whales, even just watching it.
It is truly nature in its most wild and powerful.
It is.
Before leaving Vancouver Island, we couldn't pass up some time in Pacific Rim National Park. There's something very peaceful about being here in this old growth forest. I don't know if it's the age of these trees or perhaps the sheer size of them. Like this cluster of cedars behind me. They almost stand there as a monument to nature itself. From the towering fir trees of Vancouver Island to the heights of the coastal mountains, it's back to the mainland to catch up with Grant Lamott. He's our guide for the next stop on our West Coast adventure. Okay, well, with more than 200 runs in skiable alpine bowls and glacier skiing, this is considered by many as perhaps the greatest skiing in North America, maybe even in the world. We're at the Whistler Resort. Now, our adventure in BC just wouldn't be complete without taking to the mountains for some classic springtime skiing. Let's go.
All right.
Well, I was ready for some good skiing, but this is just unbelievable skiing.
You enjoyed yourself?
This is unbelievable. Well, let's shake you up first. The height didn't bother me, you know, getting up there and looking down and seeing the world in front of me. But it's the length of the runs at first. I'm not used to that. I mean, usually I come down and run is like 10 minutes, I'm finished.
Most of the runs here average between 3 to 6 miles, with 6 miles being the longest one, which is France's run.
I think I could do some more. How about you?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Yeah, enough?
Perfect. Let's just go have a run.
Whistler Village is the heart of the resort. The choice of accommodation varies from family-sized condominiums to comfortable pensions and inns, all in walking distance of the ski lifts. The resort is rated one of the best in the world. There are two mountains, Whistler, 2,100 meters above sea level, and the even higher Blackcomb. They combine for the greatest uninterrupted fall line skiing on the continent. Well, that's it for Wales and Whistler in British Columbia. But don't go away, we'll be right back with more on Road to Adventure. Just about everybody knows the story. A little red-haired girl, an orphan, comes here to Prince Edward Island to live. The little red-haired girl's name is Anne Shirley. And of course, where she lives is Green Gables. And Lucy Maud Montgomery's charming stories about Anne are now as popular in Japan as they are right here in Canada. Green Gables draws thousands of tourists to Prince Edward Island every year. As well as books about Anne and her adventures here on the island, and the farmhouse itself, performances of Anne of Green Gables at the Charlottetown Summer Festival entertain people from all over the world. But it's really a different story we've come here to see. A drama that's played out only once a year, and not on the festival stage, and not here at Green Gables, but 100 miles offshore on the frozen islands of ice in the mouth of the St. Lawrence River. It's early spring, and ice that covered the St. Lawrence is beginning to break up and travel out to sea. Soon, these ice floes will become an incredible nursery. Hundreds of thousands of harp seals will arrive to give birth to a new generation of pups. This is what we're here to see. Our journey to the breeding ground begins in Charlottetown, PEI. It's also where we'll find Dr. Eugene Lewis, the man behind the expedition.
The ice, for example, the ice is spectacular. Some people forget about the seals when they first see the ice. It takes a while to remember why am I here?
Apart from being an exciting ride, the helicopter flight to the ice floes is a logistical and navigational challenge. The ice is always moving, so the location of the seals changes day to day. Helicopters never fly to the same place twice. There's only a narrow window of opportunity to see the pups. They're born at the end of February and stay on the ice until weaned and ready to fend for themselves. Visitors are allowed on the ice after the pups are 2 weeks old. That gives us just a couple of weeks to see them before they swim off to join the herd. It's not a particularly pleasant thought, but I think it should be remembered that not too long ago, these icy breeding grounds were visited by hunters and not by tourists.
They come here, and it's like stepping back to a world of a million years ago, because it was just exactly like this. You know, this ice melts every year, comes back every year, it's clean, it's new, nobody builds anything on it. And when we leave in 6 weeks, say, it's all gone, and it comes back again brand new next year. And it's an experience that moves people deeply.
Tourism has given the harp seals a whole new lease on life, not to mention a boost to the local winter economy. But the harp seals' problems are far from over. Now they have to compete with man for the dwindling supply of Atlantic fish stock. And much is yet to be learned on how to manage our maritime resources so that we can meet the needs of both man and seal. By being able to come out here on the ice and see these animals firsthand in the wild, we get a better understanding of how they live and how the way we live affects them. It's a story of coming to terms in a changing world. It's not too unlike Anne's story when she went to Green Gables. Now this week's travel news. First off, bicycles and vineyards. Well, they've become a popular holiday combination, especially in the wine regions of France. But Canadian cyclists with a taste for the good life can now enjoy the fruits of a day's pedaling a lot closer to home. A number of companies now offer escorted cycling tours in southern Ontario visiting the renowned vineyards of the Niagara Peninsula. Most packages include bicycle rentals, meals and wine tastings, accommodation in a pleasant pension or inn, as well as the services of a guide and luggage van. Tours run from 3 to 5 days and are open to anyone who can ride a bike. A list of companies operating cycling tours in the Niagara region is available by calling Ontario Travel Information. Everyone knows about the stiff penalties awaiting those caught at customs in possession of illegal drugs. But sometimes even prescription and some over-the-counter drugs can cause problems for Canadian travelers. An unidentified pill in the bottom of a flight bag or a loose cold tablet in your pocket can raise the suspicions of even the most obliging customs officer. To avoid problems, the Canadian government advises travelers to carry medication in the bottle or package they came in, with a description of the contents indicated on the outside. For some drugs, you're also advised to bring a letter from a doctor or pharmacist confirming your medication and the prescription. Even then, make sure the number of pills you have match the number your prescription says you'll need for while you're away. If you're unsure whether the pills you travel with could mean headaches at customs, contact your doctor or the Department of External Affairs. Canadians looking for a chance to get away and save money, well, you might think about staying at home. Better yet, staying in Canada. Experience Canada is a partnership of 22 leading travel and hospitality companies. They're offering special deals to encourage Canadians to travel right here in Canada. It's the largest private sector initiative of its kind ever in Canada, and it's aimed at reducing a foreign travel deficit estimated at $5.2 billion. Well, you've just finished a hectic week of business in Europe or a few days on London's theater and restaurant circuit, and you're looking for a change of pace. Well, the British Tourist Authority suggests you might want to take a walk. Weekend walking tours in Britain have become increasingly popular. Now, there are now a number of 3-day itineraries to choose from, exploring the byways of England, Scotland, and Wales. Walks take you off the beaten track, into the historic and scenic countryside to follow paths and bridleways across the Lancashire Fells, the Exmoor coast, past Hadrian's Wall, or into the mountains of Cumbria. Some tours take you from inn to inn or from pub to pub, while other circuit walks return you to the same familiar accommodation each night. Get in touch with your travel agent or the British Tourist Authority for more information on walking tours in Britain. And that's it for this week's travel news. It's wet and wild in Costa Rica. This is quite an adventure, so stay tuned. This is an example of one of the rarest ecosystems on Earth. It's a cloud forest high in the mountains of Costa Rica's Monteverde Reserve. Now here, the humidity that's needed to sustain this unique plant life is provided by the clouds themselves that roll in from the Caribbean Sea, which is about 50 kilometers east of here. Now, exploring these intricate and well-maintained paths, you'll have no problem seeing the forest for the trees. Over 500 different species of trees.
This charming mountain stream, framed by this dense tropical growth, is just one of many stopping points on our eco tour of Costa Rica, a tour that was organized by the Canadian travel company Elzinka Adventure. From here, we're off to discover why this Central American country has become a favorite for nature lovers from Canada and around the world.
Here we are, guys, for the tour.
Great. Costa Rica stretches from the Pacific to the Caribbean. It's only 120 kilometers from sea to sea, with highlands that run like a backbone down the middle of the country. This dramatic range is still being shaped by active volcanoes. One of these is Poas, a cinder cone and crater rising 3,000 meters above sea level. Poas is one of 30 national parks in Costa Rica, which is really amazing when you figure this entire country is only about the same size as, say, the province of Nova Scotia. From Poas, we descend into the Central Plateau. It's in this fertile region that most Costa Ricans live and work. Leaving the towns and villages of the plateau behind, we climb back into the highlands. We're on our way to the Rio Reventazon, one of many Costa Rican rivers known for exceptional rafting and kayaking. It'll be interesting to see how it stacks up against our own Canadian whitewater. We're here. We have arrived, and we're going to be moving kind of fast now, because we're a little bit late. Hey! Hey! Great. We get a brief paddling lesson and a few safety tips, then climb in the rafts and take to the water. I'm kind of busy right now, but stay tuned. All right, high five. All right. Paddles up for a celebration. Here we go. Good. I think we're going to be in good shape today. These guys know what they're doing already.
The river takes us about 16 kilometers downstream. Arriving a little tired, but exhilarated. We leave the tumbling Reventazon and continue east to Hamburgo and a different kind of waterborne adventure. In these small boats, we travel the Tortuguero canals, exploring deep into the jungle. It's a great chance to see and photograph the wildlife. Monkeys, crocodiles, sloths, and lots of exotic birds. About 60,000 Canadians visited Costa Rica last year, many of them, like us, seeking a vacation of discovery. We found lush jungles, exotic plant and animal life, wild rivers, scenic mountains, and it all makes it hard to say adios. From here, it's back to Hamburgo by boat. But there's another boat tomorrow. Well, that's it for beautiful Costa Rica. And that's it for this week's show. Thanks for watching. If you want more information about the about the tours and destinations on this program, why don't you write to us? Here's the address. I'm Christopher Bondy, and I'll see you next week. The road